The mics were hot. The laughter was loud. For nearly 2 decades, they built an empire on shared punchlines and marital banter.
Right.
And just like that, well, the comedy world's favorite royal couple quietly dropped the mic on their marriage. The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
They really did.
Today, we are unpacking the headline that shook the comedy world. Tom Segura and Christina Pazsitzky reportedly end their 18-year marriage. Welcome to Starscope Report.
Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame. And today's deep dive is custom tailored just for you.
So today we are looking at a Hollywood split that, it really defies everything we know about celebrity breakups.
Yeah, absolutely does.
We're untangling how they managed to hide this massive life event from 1.8 million eagle-eyed fans, what actually happens to their $28 million podcasting empire, and whether their flagship show can even survive the fallout.
Yeah, that's the big question.
It is a story about the intersection of marriage, money, and the intense glare of the public eye.
It really is a fascinating case study, because when two people make a literal living by turning their private, intimate lives into public entertainment,
Right.
a secret of this magnitude feels almost mechanically impossible to keep. The entire premise of their brand is oversharing.
Which is exactly why the timeline of this news is so staggering. Let's look at the reality of the situation. TMZ officially broke the news on Monday, July 13th, 2026.
Wow.
But the actual divorce was finalized months ago, right under the noses of their entire audience.
Just completely hidden.
Yeah, they managed to keep the end of an 18-year marriage entirely under wraps while sitting down to broadcast their lives on a weekly basis.
To really understand the gravity of that deception, and I say deception in the most professional sense of the word, we have to look at the foundation they built. This wasn't a flash-in-the-pan Hollywood romance where they met at an after-party or something. Their roots go deep into the very DNA of their careers. They first crossed paths all the way back in the 1990s on the Los Angeles stand-up comedy circuit.
They were in the trenches together, navigating the open mic scene, grinding it out in the clubs, bombing on stage, driving miles for zero pay.
Yeah, the classic stand-up grind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they started out as just friends. Tom actually waited until Christina was single before he even asked her out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had this network of friends in the comedy scene. He jokingly called them his spies.
That's hilarious.
Right. And when they reported back to him that she had broken up with her ex, he decided to make his move, deciding to just swing in there and see what's up.
It's a classic origin story, but it highlights a crucial point. They built their adult identities around each other.
Yeah, they really did.
They tied the knot in November of 2008. So you have a foundation built on shared struggle in a notoriously difficult industry, a long-term friendship, and then nearly 2 decades of marriage. They quite literally grew up together in the comedy world.
Okay, but hold on. This is where I struggle to make sense of it. I get the shared history. But to two professional oversharers,
Yeah, right.
people who literally sit in front of microphones and cameras, dissecting their personal habits, their arguments, their family life, how do they keep a finalized divorce completely secret from a fiercely loyal fan base? You're telling me not a single slip-up happened on camera?
Well, what's fascinating is that the illusion was cracking, but only if you knew exactly what to look for.
Oh, interesting.
While the general public was in the dark, eagle-eyed internet sleuths did start to notice a shift. If you analyze the timeline of their flagship show, Your Mom's House, the structural clues were hiding in plain sight.
Okay, what were the clues?
So the last episode they co-hosted together was episode 856, which aired way back in late April.
Yeah, late April. So for months, the audience is just watching a totally different format without an official explanation.
Yep.
That must have driven the Reddit boards absolutely crazy.
Oh, it absolutely did.
Yeah.
Since episode 856, they've been hosting separate episodes with different guest stars. Fans were pointing out Tom's absence, speculating wildly, wondering if it was a scheduling conflict or, something worse.
Right.
But the absolute confirmation didn't come until the TMZ report. Now think about the psychological toll of those final months.
Right, because before late April, they were still filming together while the marriage was ending.
Exactly. Imagine the sheer overwhelming exhaustion of their situation, faking effortless marital chemistry on camera while secretly navigating lawyers, dividing assets,
Yeah.
and untangling 18 years of shared life. The mental bandwidth required to maintain that public persona, to laugh at the same inside jokes while the private reality is entirely fracturing. I mean, it requires an almost superhuman level of compartmentalization.
It's exhausting just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to work on a group project with an ex?
Oh, it's the worst.
Now imagine that project is broadcast to millions, and you have to sit across a desk from the person you are legally separating from, trying to remember the timing of a comedic bit while simultaneously figuring out custody schedules for your kids.
It requires an ironclad commitment to the business, which brings up the most complex and high-stakes part of this entire separation.
And that's not even the wildest part. Because the craziest aspect isn't that they managed to split in secret, it's what they actually plan to do with their multi-million-dollar business now that the secret is out.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead in this deep dive.
So, it's one thing to fake smiles for the camera, but the real reason they couldn't just walk away and take a break to heal is the sheer financial weight of what they've built.
Absolutely.
We need to explain the mechanics of their professional partnership, because this isn't just two people talking into a microphone in their garage anymore. They co-founded YMH Studios. This production company is a media juggernaut.
It really is.
It has 1.8 million YouTube subscribers and an entire ecosystem of shows that has been running for 16 years.
It is a foundational pillar of the comedy podcasting industry. A studio like that employs producers, bookers, audio engineers, and marketing teams. The overhead is massive, but so are the returns.
Exactly.
And it's not just the joint venture that's lucrative. They have driven their individual successes to the point where they have equal estimated net worths of $14 million each. They are absolute financial equals in this empire.
Let's break down the mechanism of that wealth.
Yeah.
Where does $14 million each come from in the comedy space?
Yeah, let's look at it.
Well, Tom has been crushing it across multiple platforms. He recently snagged 2 2026 Emmy nominations for his Netflix series Bad Thoughts, specifically for outstanding short-form comedy, drama, or variety series.
Wow.
Yeah. Plus, he's filmed 6 massive stand-up specials with Netflix, which come with huge paydays and massive touring leverage. And on top of all that, he co-hosts another incredibly lucrative podcast, Two Bears, One Cave, with Burt Kreischer.
And Christina is a powerhouse in her own right, with a highly specific and profitable brand. She's successfully launched her own beauty brand, Christina P Cosmetics.
Right.
She has her own hit solo podcast under the YMH umbrella called Where My Mom's At, which monetizes the realities of motherhood. And she has 2 highly successful Netflix comedy specials of her own, Mother Inferior from 2017 and Mom Jeans from 2022.
She's doing incredible.
She really is. She's built a massive brand around the honest, sometimes gritty realities of being a woman and a mother.
Right, so you have 2 incredibly successful, very wealthy individuals who have built this massive, overlapping Venn diagram of a business.
Yeah.
And here's where I need you to make sense of this for me. The TMZ source confirmed that this split is completely amicable. And shockingly, they plan to continue co-hosting Your Mom's House together.
I know, it's wild.
Wait, is that actually sustainable, or is that just PR spin to keep sponsors from fleeing? I mean, how do you go from husband and wife banter to platonic co-workers without the audience feeling the immense awkwardness?
That is the ultimate question, isn't it? The psychological tightrope they are choosing to walk is unprecedented.
Truly.
The entire comedic dynamic of Your Mom's House was built on the premise of a married couple playfully bickering, reacting to absurd internet videos, and sharing overly intimate details of their domestic life. To suddenly pivot to platonic banter threatens the core formula of the show.
Exactly. The show literally started with them in a crummy 2-bedroom apartment, newlyweds with no money, sleeping in one room and recording in the other.
Yeah, that's their origin.
Their marriage is the DNA of the show. If Christina's brand is heavily tied to being a mom and a wife dealing with her husband's antics, removing the wife element shifts her specific comedic lane entirely.
Which is why attempting to continue the show is such a massive risk. It's like trying to perform surgery on conjoined twins while they're running a marathon.
Wow, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, they're attempting to carefully separate a 16-year financial and romantic entanglement without ever stopping the weekly content engine. They have to compartmentalize their personal grievances perfectly to protect a $28 million golden goose.
I mean, realistically, if the show stops, Ad revenue pauses, tour promotions take a hit, the algorithm punishes them, and their employees are out of a job.
Right, the stakes are so high.
The financial incentive to smile and make it work is massive. But humans are not machines. Resentment builds.
Absolutely. It speaks to either a deep level of mutual respect or a highly rational, almost clinical understanding of their shared financial interests. But while they might be operating logically, the emotional side of this is where the public is really getting caught up.
And later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming, a desperate public plea from a massive sports star begging them to call off the divorce.
But before we get to the public's reaction, we have to look at the clues they left in their own art. Stand-up comedy relies on exaggeration, but it's usually rooted in a core of truth. It functions as a pressure release valve.
Definitely.
Over the years, they openly joked about their marital struggles, and those punchlines are now hitting very differently.
They absolutely did. They made a living turning their domestic friction into comedy. For instance, in his stand-up set, Tom used to joke that the secret to success in his marriage was intimidation and fear.
Oh, man.
He famously compared his wife to Kim Jong-il and himself to the people of North Korea. He quipped that every day there were a series of interrogations leading to a looming execution.
It's a hilarious bit, but it paints a picture of a very specific, intense dynamic. It's funny because it taps into the universal feeling of walking on eggshells in a long-term relationship.
Right.
But Christina gave it right back. In her 2017 Netflix special, Mother Inferior, she had this very memorable quote. She said, "I love my husband, I laugh at his jokes, I think he's fantastic, and then all day, every day, I want to punch him in his dumb face."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she added, "And it's not the big things that make you want to kill your spouse, it's little stuff."
It's so relatable. They weren't projecting this perfect, glossy Hollywood marriage. They were talking about wanting to punt each other over the way someone loads the dishwasher.
Exactly.
But when a couple actually divorces, audiences start to wonder, how much of that was a crafted bit and how much was a genuine cry for help?
It's the paradox of the comedian. You tell the truth to get a laugh, and the laugh disguises the truth. But beyond the comedy club, the real-life stressors on this marriage over the last year have been intense.
Yes, to add to the stress, their year started with a massive, highly public logistical nightmare.
Oh, the travel thing.
Yes. Earlier this year, the couple made headlines because they got stranded in the Caribbean during a vacation. Airspace was shut down due to geopolitical tensions and the Trump administration's military action in Venezuela, leaving them completely trapped in travel limbo.
Right.
And just for you listening, we're presenting this strictly impartially, just reporting the facts of their travel disruption as stated in the sources.
Right, of course. But think about the psychological stress test of that situation. You are already navigating the difficult, fragile final month of an 18-year marriage.
It must have been awful.
You go on vacation, perhaps to try and reconnect, or maybe just to escape, and suddenly you are trapped in a foreign country due to an international geopolitical crisis. You are dealing with canceled flights, lack of control, and complete uncertainty.
Com actually posted a video on Instagram in January talking about how they couldn't go home, airspace was opening and closing, and he called it a mystery whether they'd ever get back.
That is so stressful.
Christina chimed in joking that they were just trying not to get a DUI while stuck in the hotel bar.
Travel is notoriously stressful for the healthiest of couples. Being trapped in an airport or a hotel while quietly on the brink of divorce is a pressure cooker that could break anyone.
It is the ultimate test of patience. But through all of this, the comedy tours, the podcast empire, the travel chaos, the sources emphasize that their main priority right now is co-parenting their two sons.
Which is great to hear.
Yeah, they have a 10-year-old named Ellis, born in 2016, and an 8-year-old named Julian, born in 2018.
And this is where the humanity really cuts through the Hollywood narrative. Tom has been very vocal about the beautiful chaos the boys bring to the house.
He really has.
He joked on Jimmy Fallon that everything in their home is either broken or peed on. And Christina has called herself a fierce mama wolf. The source that spoke to TMZ emphasized that while they are separating professionally and romantically, they remain entirely devoted to their children.
Which is exactly what you hope to hear in a high-profile divorce. The kids come first, the $28 million empire comes second.
Absolutely.
But while Tom and Christina are handling this with apparent maturity and strategic compartmentalization, the public reaction has been anything but measured.
The reaction has been wildly emotional. Some fans are praising their functional partnership, but others are taking it really, really hard.
Right.
And this brings us to one of the most bizarre and fascinating reactions to this news, which perfectly illustrates the psychology of modern media consumption. Former UFC fighter and sports commentator Chael Sonnen had an incredibly emotional response.
I saw this. It was wild.
He took to X, formerly Twitter, and wrote a direct public plea to Tom. The tweet simply read, "Tom, listen to me. Fix this, please. Fix this."
Fix this, please.
Yeah.
I have to pause on that because that is not a casual fan leaving a sorry to hear it comment. That is visceral. That is desperate.
It really is, and it's jarring to step back and look at it objectively. Chael Sonnen is a tough, legendary combat sports athlete, a guy who made a living in a cage.
Right. Not exactly the sentimental type.
Exactly. And he is practically begging a stand-up comedian to save his marriage. Why? Well, this is the core mechanism of parasocial relationships.
Walk me through how that works in the brain. Why does a fan care so much about a stranger's marriage?
Because to the brain, they aren't strangers. When you listen to a podcast for 16 years, you are piping these people's voices directly into your ears for hours a week.
That makes sense.
You listen while you commute, while you do the dishes, while you work out. Your brain processes that frequency of intimate conversational contact the same way it processes a real-life friendship. You feel like you're sitting in their living room with them.
So when the couple announces a split, the audience isn't just reading a news headline. They're experiencing a genuine sense of grief and betrayal, mourning the loss of their podcast parents.
Precisely. They project their own feelings of instability onto what the couple themselves are calling an amicable split. It shatters the comforting illusion that the audience relied on. If Tom and Christina can't make it work, what hope is there for the rest of us? That's the emotional weight the fans are carrying.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next on Starscope Report.
As we wrap up this analysis, if we connect all these threads to the bigger picture, Tom and Christina are trying to do the impossible. They are attempting to transition from husband and wife to pure business partners in front of millions of deeply invested people.
Yeah.
It raises an important question for you, the listener. Could you sit across from your ex every single week, smile for the cameras, and keep the jokes rolling? Or is this massive podcast empire sitting on a ticking emotional time bomb?
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.